Hi, I'm Wayne with Lone Wolf Hot Rods. How to set and tune Holley carburetor jets and power valves isn't difficult. Anyone can do it at home with common hand tools. Unfortunately, it's also easy to screw up the carburetor. Many novices seem to think that jetting and horsepower are inexplicably linked, and because of this, the main jetting is almost always a cause of confusion in high-performance Holleys. The truth is, the as-delivered jetting from Holley is very close to optimum for the vast majority of high-performance applications. When it comes to calibration, Holley carburetors are typically baseline jetted at sea level at 70 degrees Fahrenheit. A few specific carburetors require staggered jetting, but for the most part, the factory installed jets will be within a couple of numbers of being right. Jets delivered with the carburetor should suffice for a baseline tune-up for your application. The basic criteria for changing jets is as follows. For every 20-degree Fahrenheit change in air inlet temperature or 700 to 800 foot change in altitude, the jetting should be adjusted. You can check out the Lone Wolf's Hot Rods Super Tuning Carburetors for weather and altitude video for more detailed jetting information. Holley jets are flow matched, and they're rated by the flow characteristics, not just the drill size. Holley jets should never be re-drilled. Jets are broached to the correct size. Drilling the jet is simply not accurate, in fact ruins the jet. Storage is also important. Never store jets on a piece of wire. Constant jet movement on the wire can internally erode the component, creating the same effect as drilling the part. Holley and other companies sell jet storage cards just like this. They hold the jet in a neat, orderly manner and they're easy to access. Most high-performance Holleys have jets on both the primary and the secondary sides. The jets are accessed by removing the fuel bowls on each side, but there's an important exception. 4160 carburetors, such as model 3310s and 01850s, do not have replaceable jets on the secondary side. In place of the jet block is a special metering plate. The only way to change the orifice size of these plates when rejetting is to replace the entire plate. Although special plates are generally available from Holley for this purpose, finding them can sometimes prove troublesome. A much easier method is to simply convert the carburetor to a 4150 type assembly where you can use replaceable jets. The proper kit for making this changeover is available from Holley under part number 34-6. Jet swaps are easy on a Holley carburetor. Drain the bowls by loosening the bowl screws. Here. Bowl screws can either have a screwdriver head or a hex head, like that. And be careful with bowl screw washers. Early examples often stuck to the bowl. In other cases, they came off with the screws or tear. Newer versions like this are kind of a plastic material and they do not tear. Moroso offers a neat drain cup tool, especially designed for the draining job. Just goes like this. It's on the engine. And what if you don't have a drain cup tool? Well, simple. Just use an aerosol paint can lid. Works perfectly. Once empty, remove the bowls. Pry the bowl off, but not the metering block. Be careful when removing the bowl because the bowl gaskets here can stick, and I mean stick. You'll find the jets in the metering block. There. Here I'm using a Holley Jet Tool to remove and replace the jets. Tools such as this don't damage the jets, and they make removal and replacement simple. If you don't have a dedicated jet tool, a large flat blade screwdriver will work. Once you get the jet swapped, reinstall the float bowl with fresh gaskets if your examples are torn. Here's a warning with regard to many of the non-stick gaskets on the market. Beware of today's unleaded premium, highly oxygenated fuels. They're not always compatible with some of the non-stick gaskets or vice versa. And in addition, non-stick gaskets are softer and sometimes require a retorque. Because the primary fuel bowl jets are located at the rear of the bowl, the fuel doesn't run away from the jet as the car is accelerating. Secondary bowl jets here are situated ahead of the bowl, so as the car accelerates, fuel runs away from the jet and can cause a momentary fuel loss problem. The problem can be cured quite easily with the addition of a set of jet extensions. This is a screw-on type from Holley, and this is an aftermarket press-on job. What they do is effectively extend the jet to the rear of the bowl where gasoline's always present. See, just screws in here and the jet goes in, tightened up and done. When jet extensions are installed, you'll soon discover they interfere with the float. To solve this new problem, use a nitrofill float assembly, notch it for clearance, and fill the notch with gasoline-resistant epoxy. Seems like too big a task? Well, Holley and others sell pre-notched, pre-filled nitrofill floats, just like that. Jets aren't the only components to consider when it comes to richening the fuel circuits in your Holley carburetor. The fuel enrichment circuit of a Holley is based upon a power valve system. This system adds approximately 4 to 10 jet numbers of fuel to the engine upon demand. The amount of fuel added is dependent upon the size of the power valve channel restriction in the metering plate. The point at which the power valve opens is determined by the spring tension built into the power valve. This value is in inches of mercury and is stamped on the surface, usually over here, of every power valve. For example, a number 65 power valve will open at 6.5 inches of manifold vacuum, while a number 35 power valve will open at 3.5 inches of manifold vacuum. The power valves are located in the back side of the metering blocks. Many 4150 Holleys have power valves on both sides, on the secondary and the primary side. A 1-inch 12-point box end wrench is what you'll need to remove and replace the power valve. Selecting the right power valve for your car is a very important step in making your Holley work. So which power valve is right? Now, the correct valve should open 1 to 1.5 inches manifold vacuum below the vacuum reading at idle. In other words, if your car has a manifold reading of 6 inches at idle, the power valve should open up 4.5 inches of vacuum, which is a number 45 power valve. When the carburetor throttle is cracked open, the engine vacuum drops, which allows the power valve to open. This is a very critical stage in custom tuning the carburetor to your engine. If the engine has a long duration cam and consequently has low manifold vacuum, the power valve could easily be opening during idle. In this case, the valve will oscillate sometimes, acting like a tiny fuel pump splashing fuel. This can lead to a very erratic idle and absolutely no off-idle throttle response. And just like jetting, altitude plays a very important role in the selection of power valves. The circuit must be readjusted for a decreased available intake vacuum as altitude increases. Power valve timing or size should be reduced 1.5 inches for every 3,000 foot increase in altitude above sea level. This is adjustments done simply to compensate for the lack of available air. Why not pick the smallest power valve? A power valve of a lower rating will delay the enrichment and can cause a hesitation. And now something else to consider is this. In order to avoid fuel starvation, you must give some thought to the secondary power valve. This power valve is located higher than the jets and it is the first to be uncovered as fuel is pushed to the rear, back here, of the fuel bowl. Since there's no way to put an extension on the power valve, and it's not always practical to turn the carburetor sideways to eliminate fuel starvation, the best situation is to block off the power valve. Holley offers power valve plugs just for this purpose. Jetting must be increased approximately 4 to 8 numbers, typically, if the valve is blocked. And that's it. That's all there is to jetting and power valves on a Holley carburetor. For more on tuning Holley carburetors, check out the Set and Tune Holley Carburetor series on the Lone Wolf Hot Rods channel. And thanks for watching.